Let's get scratching. I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
We've talked about this a little bit in the past.
Yeah. You can go ahead.
I don't care. Emulation is fine.
Tim doesn't care. He
I
thinks
don't care.
emulation's fine. I don't really. I used to really be against it. I just thought it was just like, but that was me as in collector mode. Kind of, I think it was just a little jaded because of the fact that I was out spending so much money on the actual physical stuff to play it. When I could just be smart and download it onto my computer and play it. So I don't have a problem now. Because
I don't have a problem with people wanting to own the physical carts. If they grew up with the physical carts, they want to own the physical carts. They look cool. They're cool to have. You had them as a kid. There's nothing wrong with that either. But if you're talking about, am I going to go out and spend over $1,000 on a video game? No, I'm going to emulate it because emulation is simple.
I'm not going to go pay
easy
$500 for Panzer Dragoon Saga. If I want to play it, I'm just going to emulate the game.
Well, Panzer Dragoon might be a little harder to emulate, but I think because Saturn emulation is really bad. But I mean, games
so is
like
N64.
N64 is not terrible. It's just finding a controller that feels right. But yeah, I mean, if
It's true.
like
We've
Little
tried.
Samson, Flintstones, Surprise the Dinosaur People.
Exactly.
Why would you buy those games when you can just emulate them? I mean,
Because
I
we
understand
sell
that
them, Tim.
the collectors.
Because
That
we
is
sell
true.
them.
That is true.
Dun, dun,
I get that
dun.
the collectors want to have them and stuff, but me personally, I wouldn't spend that kind of money on,
Well,
on a video
it
game.
also depends on if you've got the means to do it. I mean, if you make a shit ton of money, man, like your life would be different because you would just be like so cavalier with what you spent anyway.
Yeah.
You could just afford it.
I guess.
And be a baller. This, I think it's always going to be around. I really do. Just because it's hot right now doesn't mean it's going to, like, will it always be this hot? Probably not. I mean, I might cool off, but as long as there's physical media, there's new consoles coming out and stuff like that, everybody's going to be into this. I mean, one day we're going to be talking about the Wii U being retro. And, heck yeah, I always think it's going to be going on, you know? Because gaming isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the number of collectors out there, like actual collectors who are trying to buy complete NES collections or going after the super
You think
expensive
that's
title,
gonna go down?
that will dwindle, I think. As far as people not wanting to buy Mario and Metroid and Zelda, no.
Right.
The people are always going to want those games. Even people our age who grew up on that stuff, they want it. They're raising their kids on it. Their kids will raise their kids on it. It'll always be around. It'll always sell. It'll always be popular. I think the popularity will drop, but it will always be popular.
Gosh, man, that's hard. So I actually had one a while back that I really wanted to try to find like a programmer or something like that, whatever. And I called it Z House, and basically you just create like level ones, like a tutorial. You're like in a shed, and you just have to build up the shed. Like, do you remember like Warcraft 2 and you could hear them like cutting down the trees?
Yeah.
It's kind of just like you would build it and you would have to go around and find like little pieces of wood and stuff so you can build up your houses. And then at night they would come and attack you. But I was doing a podcast with some friends and this girl was talking about a game that sounded exactly like that. And I don't remember the name of it. So if anybody knows, please leave a comment down below because that would be cool. Because I'd like to check out the video and just find out if it is, because mine was a little bit more cartoony.
Yeah. Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah, I was going more 16 instead of like the full like 8-bit retro, which a lot of the indie stuff is.
Yeah.
But I was gonna do more like 16, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. But again, like kind of like a Sim City, almost like a top down, a little bit like Sims to the corner. But yeah, it was gonna be Z House is kind of the name I was throwing around. I thought it'd be fun, like Night of the Living Dead, but comical. So almost like Shaun of the Dead. Boom, it's like Shaun of the Dead, a video game, a little bit, something like that. Everybody likes zombies, man.
Yeah, zombies are big.
Make enough money to make another game after that, hopefully.
If I could make a game, man, I think I would. You know how much I love Zelda 2. I love Zelda 2. I love that game a lot.
It's a good game.
I would make like a bigger Zelda 2. Less obscure puzzles.
Less
but a game
cryptic.
similar, yet less cryptic. A game similar to Zelda 2 where it's side-scrolling, you level up, it's got RPG elements, you walk around a big map, you fight monsters, you go through dungeons, you get items. I think that would be fun. I really do like Zelda 2 a lot, so I think like
if they made another Zelda game and it was like a $10 on the eShop, is it still the eShop?
eShop,
Still
yeah.
the eShop. It's such a weird name.
depending on what you're on.
And it was on like eShop or whatever for Nintendo, and it was like $10, and it was just like Zelda 2, but a new map, new adventure. I'd freaking buy it in a heartbeat, man.
Zelda
Like,
2's puzzles are just so ridiculously cryptic.
very cryptic.
Like,
It's definitely a Nintendo Power game. It just is.
man, I've got to believe that PlayStation 1.
You got a drink? Oh, man,
at
I was gonna
some
do it
point-
without
I've been
you.
sipping on it.
Sorry, man.
You've got to think that PlayStation 1 at some point is going to be collectible because it had all those. It's almost kind of like the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It took over for the Super Nintendo when Nintendo lost like Final Fantasy games and stuff.
It's true.
It's got all those RPGs. It's
got hell of
It's
a
like
bunch.
I think it's in the top 5 best-selling consoles ever.
Most likely.
It sold like 100 million consoles. I think that will be collectible.
Okay.
Similar to how the NES is, where it's like everybody's after the same 30 games. I really think PS2 is going to be
PS1.
PS1 and PS2. I think are going to be really collectible.
PS2, I think it'll. PS1, I would see more, even though I played way more PlayStation 2. But it's just there's so many freaking PS2 games, and by that time they started to make so many copies of the games. So I mean, I think it'll be collectible in the sense that a lot of people are going to be going after it because they're going to realize that this stuff was good.
Right.
But the good thing about it is it's not. I don't think it's going to be insanely expensive. Where there are only going to be a handful of games that are going to be over the $100 mark.
It won't be the next N64 where everybody's going after 5 games for the console, and those 5 games are insanely expensive
Right.
and hard to find. No, I think the PS2 will be kind of like the NES, where people are going to come in and they're going to see that we sell it, and they're going to be like, "Oh man, I remember playing PS2." Assuming you can find a working PlayStation 2 in 5 or 10 years, they'll buy a PS2 and some games, and people do that now. But I think it'll get bigger in like the next 10
So
years.
you're going with the PlayStation 2. I'm going to keep it Sony, but I'm going to go with the portable. I'm going to go with the PSP.
I could see it.
I think the PSP is a nifty little device. I mean, it's a portable DVD player wherever you're at. If you've got the movies, I never owned a PSP. Yeah, if you've got them. I never owned a PSP, so I never really got deep into it. But people who do come in and they're like, "Hey, you guys got any PSPs?" We don't have any right now. Like, it's been sold out for a little bit. They always talk about, again, kind of like there's about 20 games that everybody's into. And I've seen some of like the God of War game on the PSP looked pretty sweet. So, and I've always wanted to play the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. Never played it, and Final Fantasy is that's your thing, man. I don't know why I should be wanting to play Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah. I mean, the harsh reality behind it is
We talk about it in the store. It's just I kind of want to almost think of something different to say.
Well, it's no offense, of course, but the Super Nintendo and the NES were better than the Sega Genesis.
Wow!
They were. I'm not saying the Sega Genesis is terrible,
Just
but
dagger and twist the
Nintendo
blade.
stuff has always been better than Sega stuff. I mean, I love the Dreamcast. I love the Sega Saturn. They're 2 of my favorite consoles, but the Super Nintendo is way better than those.
Man, you're waging war with some people.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people more people owned Nintendo stuff. Nintendo stuff, I think, left more of a lasting impression than Sega stuff did. And for people like me personally who owned both, I played the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo way more than I played the Sega Genesis. So it just way more lasting impression. And the only game I really ever played for the Genesis was Sonic, and I didn't even really like Sonic. Mm-hmm. So
for me, it's a couple things. Number one, and this is really strange, but we get a lot of people come in with the nostalgia of actually blowing on the cartridges, which I know you could do that with Sega Genesis, but then especially with Nintendo, finding that sweet spot of putting the cartridge in. You know, like everybody has their little method. Some people would hit like reset before they hit power for whatever reason. They did this under the shirt. I just felt like there's more stories of trying to get your Nintendo to work and people just having fun. Of course Mario, of course Zelda, and really only had Sonic for the Genesis. For me, the biggest reason why I gravitated towards Nintendo and Super Nintendo was not because of the games, but because of the controller. I've always hated the 3-button Genesis controller, always have. People go the 6-button. That's not the fucking controller that it came with. It came with a 3-button one, man.
And the 6-button's a terrible controller, too.
If the 6-button was the size of the 3-button with just those buttons on top of it, it'd be good.
But it's also got that, the
why
6-button
did they
has
shrink
that
it?
D-pad that is so hard on your thumb.
Yeah.
It's unusable.
Comes up a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, man.
But
It's so sharp.
but yeah, man, like for me it was the controller. I just had such a hard time, and people would always do the comparisons between the Street Fighter games and the Disney games and the Mortal Kombat games. It's like I'm not freaking playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat with only 3 buttons. It just doesn't work, and I'm not using start to switch between punches and kicks. That's bullshit. So I just think, yeah, I guess in a nicer way than what you said.
There's no nice way to say it.
Nintendo and Super Nintendo are better.
Man, I played through Owlboy on PC,
Which
That-
we
that was a
actually
good game.
did. We did a Let's Play of that a while back.
Yeah, I
But,
think something was wrong with the audio. Or
Something was wrong with the
something
audio when I went to edit it, and I could not use the footage. We've actually filmed a lot of episodes of like Nintendo
that we've thrown out.
that we've thrown out. Like as many as what are we at like right now? Like 25 episodes, I think. I'm working on the 25th one right now. You'll probably see the 25th one before this video comes out. But we've probably thrown out just as many.
I don't know if we've thrown out that many.
Yeah, we have.
10, 12?
No, we've thrown out a lot.
Okay.
I'll say 20. I'll say
Wow.
20.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
just because it's
dang.
all on my computer stuff.
Oh man, what a waste of time. We played all those games for nothing.
Well,
Dang,
something
what a
happens,
waste of
man.
time.
It'll be like out of focus or whatever.
I don't care. We're playing video games, but
So you're playing Owlboy?
I beat Owlboy. I beat Inside and
Oh, the Limbo type game.
the Limbo follow-up game, and
Mr.
I want to
Indie.
play Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares. My buddy says that's pretty sweet. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 again on the
Oh, yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
4 this time. And it's therapeutic. Just, have like a long day and you come home and you just want to steal an airplane and crash it into a strip club. I don't do any of the missions. I don't know.
That's not the point of Grand Theft
Dude, they
Auto.
added more melee weapons to the PS4 one, so I'm rocking around with a freaking hammer. Because I love the melee weapons, and I love doing just like the most messed up kills. Like, I will follow someone around, and they'll just turn around and like look at me, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, what the fuck's up? And I'll just like stand there, and nothing will happen, and then they start walking, and I'll follow them, creep up on them, and then they turn around again.
and they get a hammer to the face.
And if I don't like, if he turns over his left shoulder, he's getting a hammer to the face. He goes to the right, and dude, seriously, like, it's fun.
So you've created a stalking simulator within Grand Theft Auto.
That's the game I should have created. That should be my game. It should
Did you
just
play
be
it in
called
the
Stalker.
first-person mode?
I don't like it, man. And plus the fighting, it just shows 2 hands in front. It's just like,
That's realistic.
and I feel like I'm playing like a Sega CD game.
Prize Fighter.
Yeah, no. But I've just been playing that. I just beat The Last of Us Remastered. I still have Resident Evil 7 to go through. I just keep putting that one off. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm trying to play more modern stuff.
It depends on the game.
No.
Super Dodgeball,
No,
Dr. Mario.
no.
Give me a break, dude.
Every game in the planet, I am better than Tim. That's just how it is. I just let him win at lots of the games to help his self-esteem.
Okay.
No, I'm in my
Appreciate
freaking, what is it, canoe of sarcasm right now. This guy's freaking awesome at video games. Yes, there's a few games that, of course, that you grew up with that you're always going to be really good at. And those games like Super Dodgeball, Bring It, Dr. Mario. I've been schooled here in the store, but I'm better than most at that game, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there's certain games like fighting games, like we're like kind of neck and neck. Sports games, I played like one NBA Jam. That's about it.
I think you were better at heavy shredding, for sure. When we did
Definitely
heavy
kicked
shred.
your ass in Mario Strikers.
Yes.
That game's great.
You beat me.
But for the majority, I mean, you guys, if you watch Nintendo plays, who dies normally first? This guy does. He's just got more patience. He's got way more patience. He'll sit here and just die repeatedly playing Castlevania. Gosh, man, you beat Kid Cool. I mean, come on. You beat Kid Cool.
Kid Cool was great.
And
beat
it
Karnov.
was you beat Karnov?
I beat Karnov the other day. That game's hard.
What? What was that one that I was trying to beat the other day? I mean, like a few months back. And I didn't. Rygar. Or Rygar.
Yeah, I
Rygar.
sold a copy of that today.
Damn, I still gotta beat that game.
Rygar, yeah.
Yeah, definitely Tim, I would say, like, is better at the majority of the games that we play. But it's kind of like a weird question because you'd have to just do like a tournament or something like that. You know, it's there's so many games. So to say one person, because there's like the world champions at like Counter-Strike and stuff like that, but they probably don't know how to play Kirby's Avalanche. You know, they don't know how to play that.
Well, sometimes we talk about stuff that could upset people.
Fuck you, people. Don't edit that out. No, man. No, seriously. People, like, it's just two guys, man. Like, we're planning on actually changing up the podcast a little bit. We want to start doing some stuff where we have guests on each week. I don't know, maybe not every single podcast, but, like, having some guests on. But this basically is just two guys who enjoy doing this, and we watch other podcasts, and might as well just speak our opinions.
It's just kind of like with everything else in life, man. Like, people don't have to hate other people because they have a different opinion.
Yeah.
If we speak our opinion on the show and you don't like it, stop watching our videos.
No, watch them. Write comments down below.
Either stop watching the
It's
videos
funny.
so you won't get offended.
Oh, dude, I just kicked the camera because I got mad.
Or just grow a pair and don't get offended by something somebody else says.
Nah, man. Like I think comments down below are funny. I read them. I think they're great. And even when the negative ones.
Yeah, but they've never really been negative, have they?
I don't think so. Not yet.
We deserve negativity, but we haven't received it yet.
Word.